Hey guys, Veebat here with another V Plays, and we're looking at the Tu-1 Tier 7 Russian Premium Heavy Fighter. This thing is really well known for having two 45mm cannons mounted straight down the center line, which allows you to really be able to get those guns on target at pretty decent ranges, and due to the overwhelming firepower of each one of those shells impacting an aircraft, you can usually outright knock out a light fighter in a single hit, or knock off what's left of the health of a damaged heavy fighter if need be. Just kind of getting reacquainted here and seeing how good my shot grouping is. Seems to be working pretty well today. I came into this aircraft cold. I haven't flown this thing in quite a while, but I do know that a good old-fashioned Tu-1 derp video is always a fan favorite, so this turned out to be a pretty good one if I'm not spoiling what's about to come. We are heading over to the airfield. The airfield makes the most sense. Everything else is a garrison. At least this gives us a repair site and a place for respawn closer to the action. Not so good with the connections right here, but again, trying to feel it out, and there it is. That's a good start. Good start when you get those cannons to make contact. It always feels good too. As I think I described it to Postal, it's more like a surprise and almost like a regret every time these guns hit. You're like, oh geez, I'm sorry, I didn't know I was gonna do that. Because it's just so much firepower coming out all at one time. They will troll me a bit, as you can see here, but I like to use the 23s, so I actually have them set up to a secondary key where one key will just fire the 20s, and then the left mouse will fire all of the guns, so I can just get those hit reg with the 23s, and then when I know that I'm kind of on the right line, I'll pull just a little bit more lead depending on range and tap that left mouse button in order to get the big guns on target. I'm going for a third-person fire here, and it worked pretty well, because that's what we were doing with the Horden 229, is just kind of letting the third person work for us. Again, I'm not heeding my own advice here, and I realized that pretty quickly as I went back to third person. We did light that aircraft on fire, and he is continuing in a straight line, so we'll take advantage of that. It's going to be a bit of a furball in the middle. We knew that after we captured the main zone, and we did get those 45s to connect on that last little volley right there, so good news for us. Both of the enemy heavies are going to be human controlled. There's the F7F, and the other one is going to be a specialized 50. Oh, sorry. F7F isn't specialized, but the 58 is. There is an XP58, so we got two Americans here. And the XP58 is a nasty beast as it is. Specialized makes it even more so. But we're not going to hang our hat and, give up the battle. We're going to try and find opportunities to put some damage into him if we can. Here seems like a good enough time as any. Looks like he's straightening out, going for a run, which is ill-advised because you can't outrun those 45s. So we took out that aircraft, and like I said, you can take out a damaged heavy pretty effectively if you can get the 45s to both hit on the target. Not a great shot right there. Oh, these J7Ws, they seem to be so slow compared to my aircraft that I don't have much of a hard time getting my main guns to make impact on them. We do have to work in the vertical as well, and we do see that there is an I-220 up here. Yep. It's going to be a German Tier 7 light fighter. Oh, and a ghost round takes out my pilot. Of course it does. We go for the turnaround, hoping to find an opportunity to get some rounds on target. Oh, we clipped him with a 45, and then we got the volley to finally make contact. But that 58 is still not happy with us. In a single pass with those 37mm cannons, we're able to knock off quite a significant amount of our health. We know we really can't outrun him, but we can try and delay the inevitable, I guess. Give our team an opportunity to get on him. He even took out our tail gunner, so we can't even bring him back because the phantom round used our med kit. So I'm just using terrain a little bit here, trying to I don't know, hide myself. But he's obviously on my aircraft right now. He is getting some good hits in. I'm just trying to avoid. But I do make a critical error here. I actually head into the zone, which is not what I should have done. I was trying to avoid that. So I did cost our team some capture points there, which is not the intent. Usually when you know that you're in a situation like that where you're going to die, don't die in any of the circles. You're only going to hurt your teammates. So I'm trying to decide where I want to respawn. I decided the airfield is going to be the best bet because there are some bombers rolling around and I might be able to pick them up on the tail end, so that way they're not capturing any of these other zones, even though that goes against my primary principle of always be capping, being the ABCs of this game. But easy targets is easy targets at this point, and I knew that this Tu-1 was going to be on low health. I am tempted to go after this multi-roll, but that's a fake multi-roll. That is a heavy in multi-roll clothing, being the 109 TL, or the Troll as some of my friends like to call it. We lost our wing there, but we are actually outpacing the TL right now, so I'm going to go ahead and maintain that advantage for as long as I can. There we go, finally got the 45s to hit again, and now we're sticking our nose up and we're going after that 220 yet again. We did get a hit with a 45, but it was only a crippling shot, but again, we finally got the last set to make contact. We do have that XP-58's coming back with a vengeance, but he was already on low health, and that was a mistake on his part. Here's that J7W1 again. Good hit with the 45s. Can we get another hit with the 45s? I'm letting him overheat, which is a mistake, but once we closed the distance, it didn't much matter. I am chasing down this Ju-288 Alpha bomber aircraft here, because that's really the reason I respawned over that airfield anyways, so I'm just letting those 45s kind of get some sniper shots out there periodically. But we are actually closing the distance, believe it or not, so we do have a potential of getting some hits with the 23s as well. And I just want to finish this guy off. Oh, it's Squall Line, so that's even better. Now we just picked up grade 2 heavy fighters, so I'm happy with that. And we are a tier below. I mean, I say in a lot of discussions that I typically am not even paying attention if I'm bottom tier or not, but I think that it is important in this sense because that XP-58 has me dead to rights in so many different areas. So I can't necessarily outrun him, I can't outmaneuver him, so I have to outplay him. And outplaying him means that I'm going to have to choose my occasions to go up against that aircraft. It is Squall Line, so we're taking advantage of that IL-10 being at low health, so we could make sure he wasn't going to continue to be a threat for recapturing zones through ground attack. And we took out the Tu-2. Earlier we took out the Ju-288, so we just finished off all of the major ground attackers. That was a ram, but I'm shameless about that because if he got around on us, we'd be toast. And right now there's one less aircraft on the battlefield. We did just pick up grade 1 as well, so I am totally happy with that. So we were using the aircraft as a weapon, not just the cannons that are mounted on it. There are still a lot of aircraft in the center, and there's our XP-58 yet again. He's getting chased by quite a few aircraft, but he's trying to take out our Yak-3RD. So I'm trying to give him a little bit of a hand here. We got a few pot shots in, mostly with the 23s. Well, of course, with the 23s and the 45s made contact, we would have saw that pretty visible when all that red line of health bar disappears. He's got himself in a bad situation. He's trying to use maneuverability and speed at the same time. I would have used the speed first and built up some more of that passive regen, but it did give us Wing Legend as well as Kazuda medals, so hats off to you and thank you for the extra tokens, because it's always good to pick up our daily tokens. 15,000 personal points, not too bad. Let's go back to the hangar and talk a little bit more about this battle and my impressions of this aircraft. Well, when RNG plays out in your favor, this aircraft is pretty good actually. So I do enjoy flying this aircraft from time to time. I decided to dust it off. Literally just took this out this time. That's why we got ×3 on it. And we managed to not only get a grade 1, but we got a wing legend. We got 17 kills, 500, not 400, 580 capture points, and just raked in a bunch of other medals, including the Kazudov, the Flying Guardian, as well as the, what is this one? I can never remember. Conqueror. I wanted to say the Capture. That's not right. But we were going up against Brand X51 here with his specialized XP58. Definitely a troublesome aircraft. A lot of people ask me, like, how do you take out this aircraft when you're flying this aircraft? Like, you get that kind of comparison. And the answer is you're not always going to be able to rock, paper, scissors your way out of a situation. You're not always going to be able to outturn them or outclimb them or outpace them. A lot of times you're going to find yourself in a situation where there's going to be somebody who's just better. And an XP58, especially with this tier gap, regardless of the fact that we're both specialized, he is going to have the edge on me. It's a tier above, and the XP58 is a very strong platform. So just accepting that and then looking for the opportunities from when he's not paying attention, trying to put yourself out there and make a risky move. You make these risky plays, and sometimes it works out in your favor, sometimes it doesn't. But it ended up working out in our favor in this case because we were able to either outright kill him on a couple of instances, or even the time that he killed me, we injured him enough that it softened him up that he wasn't as able to flip the spaces for his team as quickly as he probably would have liked. So that's the point, right? It's just doing what you can with what you have available and not being overwhelmed by the fact that, you know, he's got 437mm cannons that are going to fire at a much better rate than mine, are much more likely to hit with a more maneuverable platform. I saw an opportunity to get some shots on target early. If it played out, it played out. If it didn't, I had a plan to minimize the negative effects, trying to stay out of zones and keep from hurting my allies. But hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. I think a Tu-1 dirt video is always a good time. So as always, I hope you guys enjoy the video, and I'll catch you on the next one.